Good morning. Welcome back to Morning at 10 TV. I am Malaki Vilodera. Now today we are big about the fashion trends. And Andrew Chamagero was talking about the clothes. Fashion when it comes to clothes. But the fashion conversation can never be complete without touching on the hair industry. And in studios I have experts, business people who have been in the hair industry for quite some time now. And of course, if you're in that space, I'm sure you've been wondering, I've been struggling, what are the tips, how can I make it here? And so in studios, I'm joined by Maggie. Thank you so much for making time. She is the CEO of Afros and Mo, together with a twin sister. So this and a
Thank you, my love, for having us.
Thank you. You're welcome. And Lynette, thank you so much for making time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Today we're big on the hair industry, but of course now, Maria, you'll be making Lynette's hair as we continue, just for us to be able to see. If you're a naturalista, by the way, and we'll be getting into that, now that is what you need to be focusing on. How you can be able to just style your natural hair on a day-to-day basis. They will try and make it as simple and easy as possible. So as we have this conversation, Maria will be making Lynette's hair. So let's start. And now, Maggie.
Yes.
Let's start this conversation. You have been in the hair industry for about 5 years now.
Yeah.
Making it.
Yes.
But there's something unique about you guys. How have you been able to be successful, be profitable in the long run? The hair industry is booming in the country, but we're seeing salons being opened up. After 2-3 months, they close down. What is it for you? How have you been able to just be sustainable and successful for 5 years in the long run?
Well, thank you so much, Mala. That's a very important question. I think what drives us basically is when we began, we had to identify, are we going into this for profit or for purpose? And so we were driven by purpose because there was a need that had to be met. Mm-hmm. And before we came in, we had created presence on social media before, trying to help people on social media through a page that we created called the Fab Lane. Mm-hmm. And so what happened, every time our followers would ask, but you know, you give us all these tips, but we don't have anywhere to go. There's no service. We are stigmatized when we go to the salons. And so out of the need, because when you to be in most cases successful, part of the things to be successful is to identify need. So we came into a space to meet the need. So when we began, there was a need and there was purpose. And there was passion. And
there was passion.
Yes.
You are known for, you know, having a clear niche in the market. Everyone that thinks of, you know, natural hair, they think of you guys.
Yes.
Why was it important when it comes to you strategizing for the business strategy? Why was it important for you to create that niche and stick to it?
I guess we had experienced self-awareness. Mm-hmm. And my twin, Maria, she doesn't stay here, but over in the States, she would see how the industry looked at hair, how important hair was, the products we feed the hair with. Why is it that in our country, hair does not go long past a certain place? Mm. Why isn't it bouncy? Why isn't it healthy? And so through that inspiration that she got from the other side, she started wanting and desiring to help Ugandans. And she first started with friends. But you know, sometimes friends may know you in a certain way and they may not take it seriously. And so she thought, oh, why don't I help everybody? And I guess that's how, you know, it all started. Mm-hmm. And this is where we are right now. But
you've been able to just stick to that. I'm sure many people walk into your salon and they're like, I want to chemicalize my hair. I want to do X, Y, Z. But for you people, you've been able to stand firm in your niche and in what you stand strong for, and that's for natural hair.
Yes.
Why are you so strong on just working on natural hair and pushing for the importance of people maintaining their natural hair. Didn't it get to a point whereby you felt like, how about we embrace all trends and just do this for our clients? Why was it important for you to just stick to that?
I'd go back to my first point.
Yeah.
That purpose.
Okay.
What was our purpose? And you know, when you have a vision, you stay put on the vision. The vision was, how do we get back to our God-given identity, who we are as Black women? How are we defined? What is beauty to us? And when we started the journey of natural hair, I think one of the things that we discovered was loving yourself from within, self-acceptance. And it goes beyond just hair. Health, what do I feed? You go so much into your God space that you know between a sword and a passion fruit.
Right.
You know between what's processed and unprocessed. Though you could make a choice to go with processed, you still have the conscious that this is not good for me. And so it kind of like changes you from the inside out, your esteem. You start feeling complete. And so it is just, I think identity cuts so across deeper than just having hair and looking good. But we found something that changes a woman from the inside out. We struggled as young girls, esteem. The first time a boy tells you you're beautiful, you believe him. We said in quotes in most cases. And so right now, if all our daughters, right now, if we taught them from a place of who they really are, identity. Hair is one of the things that identifies a person.
Right.
You know somebody's Asian, sometimes by their hair.
By their hair.
We shall know that somebody's African by something to do with their hair and maybe their skin, really, their skin. But so it is a place of identity.
Okay.
And to us, that passion drove us to help other women.
We'll get to still tips on how you've been able to be successful for 5 years now, over and above having the passion, you know, and the drive and stuff like that. But Maria, you are doing something on Lynette. Just explain to us what exactly it is that is happening there.
So like Mala, with natural hair, sometimes people make it so complicated, but it has to be simple, and it can be simple. So what I'm trying to create here is what we call the Cinnabon. The Cinnabon is the quickest, easiest natural hair style you'll ever make, and anyone can learn this. You know, it's just a twist and you pin, you tuck and pin, okay? Like here, all I'll do is just try to twist her hair, puff it a little bit just to create that volume, because we need to create some drama somehow. And then, you know, we tuck and pin. It's just that simple, and you can take it up a notch or you can bring it down depending on where you're going. If you're going on a wedding, you can take it a little up the notch. And if you're just going to office, you can take it a little down. So it's a style you can play with, and it's very easy, very convenient, and always look fabulous.
Amazing.
Yes.
Now, of course, that's a style that some of us cannot be able to
No,
to
anybody
rock,
can do this.
Really?
Oh, and you can rock it, like I said, it can be either dressed up or dressed down.
But I think it's something that can really look good on heavy-bodied hair like Lynette's hair. Some of us have weak hair.
No, not necessarily, you know.
Yeah.
And sometimes you find like creative ways, because natural hair is about creativity. You can find ways of also like putting in a little bit of extension. So if Lynette's hair was a little thin, you know, I'd kind of like get like a kinky kind of hair extension, fluff it a little bit, and kind of tuck it in here to create like volume. And then somehow I would still create the same experience or the same drama I'm trying to create here. So it's about creativity, yeah.
Amazing. And roughly it takes how many minutes to do that?
Basically, this has taken me maybe 7 now.
And now we're done.
And now we're done. And you can accessorize it if you have accessories.
Yeah.
You can accessorize. So depending on where you're going, really, this style will always work for anybody.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Maggie, let's have a conversation about now the coin, because everything boils down to the coin. Of course, you will start with your passion. You will start with this drive. You will, you know, identify the niche that you want to get into. But boiling down to the coin, how have you been able to still sustain your business in a profitable way? Because number one, I'll tell you for sure, I was friends with this particular salon owner, and what they told me is actually after 3 months of opening, they closed down. And so they told me that the issue was the hairdressers in the salon were stealing for the business. Now for you, you've been there for 5 years. How have you been able to monitor, you know, your client flow together with the money that is coming in, just to ensure that your business still stands afloat and that there are no loopholes whereby your employees can steal from you?
I think it boils down to you as a business owner. There are principles that must be used, okay, that safeguard businesses or any kind of life. The first thing is integrity. When you're integral, your team, it will rub off your team, and you must let your team know what your vision is. You might let them know what your principle is. I know right now when you go to the salon, I've told my people what is the principle behind all actions, behind any decision you made, any choice you made over a client, over your fellow staff people, over the business. What was the principle? Principles are very important, and it's very good when you're a principled person, you pass this on to your staff, and that's very important to train. I know some people think you just come in, open a business, people will walk in, but what keeps a business and what keeps flows? Because it's not good to just have one walk in and no referral basis, because your client is your best advertiser. And so what happens is you have to invest in your employees.
Okay.
You must train. You must be so professional. You have to hold weekly meetings. You have to hold them accountable.
Holding them accountable.
Yes.
And
so
being a person of integrity as the business owner.
But also you must, much as they have come to work for you, you must enrich their lives. You must keep inspiring them to be better, to do better, to live better lifestyles. You must give them experiences. Sometimes we shall spend on them just to give them experiences of what it means to live a better life, to be hungry for success. And so we know that even when we give it to them, much as it benefits our brand, it benefits the individual.
Right.
So you cannot start a business just for money. You must start a business to change and touch lives. And so when you touch your people's lives and change them, and they come and appreciate you and say, my life is much better, my life is changed, that is more satisfactory. And also it will show in the clientele that comes into your doors.
Speaking of clientele, how have you been able to sustain your client base? Because for you people, you have been very successful in that week in, week out, you have client flow. What's the secret? Because we know one thing, when it comes to the hair industry, loyalty plays a major role, and it's about how you make your client feel. So how have you been able to get that right? Because when it comes to hair, it's very sensitive.
Oh, it is.
Especially for ladies and even for men. How have you been able to get it right with your clients, just to ensure that they come back and refer other people? What's your trick?
I think the first trick is good, okay? We shall acknowledge everything from within, the godliness from within. What will it do for you? It will give you humility. I think to satisfy a customer, the first thing is to be very humble. And sometimes it's not about you, it's about the service. You must separate the person from the service, okay? And then you can be able to isolate and do better. And so for a client, we know they are king. And so it's not about me trying to argue with a client. It's about to identify where we could have gone wrong.
Right.
And I think you have to keep apologizing. That space of we are sorry. But also you have to know the trick of losing to win. Is it about the money at this time or the relationship? Is it about the potential referral points or the money you think you're going to lose. And it's a principle in our salon. If a client is not ready, we examine the hair. It doesn't matter how much it costs us, we shall have to redo. If they do have the time, we shall have to redo. We shall have to make amends, because the relationship is greater than the profit at that time.
Maria, how have you been able to make your employees at the salon understand at that point? Understand that they have to value every single client. How have you gotten that right? Because I know that's what many salon owners are struggling with, making sure that the employees hold the same values and vision that they have.
So that's very important, Mala. That's a great question. Actually, you have to always keep talking. You always have to keep training. You should never stop talking when you're in a business. Never stop talking to your workers about expectations, you know, about the expectations of the customers, about how to treat a customer, right? Like, you have to intentionally keep speaking. Like at the salon, we have like weekly meetings. We never miss those, because that's a very, very important time for the business, okay? You have to keep some habits going, okay? You have to be intentional about things, because that's the time you get to communicate. They communicate to you, you understand their challenges, and you see how to work them out. You understand through them the challenges of the customers.
Right.
So you understand your business better. So you never get tired. You never have to get tired of meeting with your staff in meetings. And also, like, we do take them somewhere out for capacity building, you know, for team building.
So you invest in them?
We invest in them. We invest in our workers, because that way they'll give back to the business what you expect of them. If you don't train your workers, then there's nothing much they're going to give back to you, because they actually don't know.
Yeah.
So you need to know you're in a place where you need to be training.
And now Lynette, okay.
Yes.
That's a great point. Now Lynette looks really, really good. Now, what does it take? How long will that style just stay intact? By tomorrow, if she wants to pull it through the week, is it possible, or she'll have to undo and redo? So
with this style, because we've done a lot of pinning, it's already secure. So what Lynette needs to do is, when she's going to bed, she can just tie a scarf. You know, we call it the pineapple method, like where you intentionally having your hair stay up and kind of safe. So that way she can wear this hair for a week. And like I said, it's a very creative style.
Yeah.
She doesn't even have to do that. If she just takes it out, she's bored, she can just change a little bit. You know, it's just pin and tuck. Just play with it, be creative, and everything will look so pretty.
Amazing.
So as you see,
and this is a style that someone can go with anywhere. To work, anywhere.
To work, yeah, to a wedding, to a party, anywhere. Like the cinnamons, like the go-to-go style.
Okay.
Yes.
I think the beauty with natural hair, it's, I think, one of the most artistic textures of hair on planet Earth. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
It's so artistic. It's so elastic. I don't know how God made it, but it's so amazing, because you can create anything that comes in your mind. And our hair is about creativity. But I think if it comes from the inside of you, it's not about cram work. It's about going creative, and that's what makes it very interesting.
Okay, let me now get personal, of course, now still sticking to how the viewers who are in that salon space or hair industry space can actually make it. Now, the other thing that we need to point out to is you are all sisters. And you are all in the same business. Like Afros and Mo is you, the three of you. Many people, when they get into business, they shy away from doing business, especially with family, with the relatives. How have you been able to sustain professionalism now that you're three sisters managing the same entity? What's the trick for you? I think we can start with Maria, as we come to Maggie. Yeah. Maybe share with us.
So what I would say, like, I think you have to understand your sister or your brother.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're sisters or brothers you cannot like see eye to eye, you know, like you like disagree. So that one may be a difficult person to do business with, because in business you have to be in a space where you can come to a level of understanding each other. So if you cannot understand each other, it's hard to get together and make something happen. So when it comes to us here, it's like we even have that space of respect, you know, we respect and we try to understand, because everything has come from a point of understanding. It's not about who is saying the best or who is, you know, it's about understanding. Like when you're in that space and you know we're all here to make this work, so we need to listen to everyone's views. So it's about that respect. You always have to keep the respect going and to just keep the understanding also happening.
Maggie,
Yeah.
when you have conflicts, how do you handle them?
When we do have conflicts among us, amongst us,
yes.
What happens is that when you've grown up with somebody, you know them, we understand each other almost perfectly. Like we share the same mindset. Her vision easily becomes my vision. And it's something that I think it's a gift, okay? Because we are twins, so it's easy for twins.
Yes.
And for sisters that understand, like Lynette here, understands our chemistry. And so she knows how to get into that space and complement us, all right? But it is about, when we disagree, it's healthy because it's a place of growth. And then when we do disagree, we know how not to keep in that other place. We get out so fast, but look at the main point. Remember we said it's not about you,
it's
about whatever you're discussing.
Right, right.
Yes.
Let me ask you, did the fact that you having clear structures in your organization, in your entity, in your business, did that also help out? Does that help out on a day-to-day basis such that you minimize on the conflicts, such that you as Maggie, you understand your limits, Maria understands her limits, Lynette understands her limits? Is it important to have structures? Because I know you have structures. How important is that?
I think that's like organizational management.
Right.
It brings systematic ways on how to do things. We already said we must be intentional. It's okay if everybody knows I have to smile like this, I have to stand like this. For work, it's very paramount because it puts you all on the same page. You look uniform and you look more organized. And so it is very, very important for you to communicate with the entire team.
Okay.
The principles that govern us. What governs us? My employees, I know somebody will say, oh, they are well behaved, oh, they do not talk in heads, but nobody knows what they go through. The training they have to go through to transform somebody to that point that even when I'm angry, I'll not answer the client.
Right.
I'd rather go to the toilet and cry it out.
And come
and
back.
Come back,
Yeah.
calm down,
Okay.
and later we shall talk about it,
All right.
okay? Because not all the time that it's us who are wrong, but sometimes also the people we serve could be wrong.
I get your point.
But how do you create a balancing act?
So at the end of the day, it's about the client. As we come
Yes.
to a close, what would you tell someone who is in the hair industry, who owns a salon or a beauty space, but they've been struggling? What can you tell them?
I think one piece of advice is to find out why you started the business. It's very important because it gives you guidelines. If you're there in the space of just to make money, then you have to find out forms of how you'll make that money. But as we said, the greatest tip is look for purpose. Don't just go because it's trending and everybody's making it in natural hair or in any hair industry, you know, because sometimes you will kind of like, you will see that other people have made it and you've not made it. Then allow the processes. Start small. Grow with small. Don't go for debts and loans to begin your business. Because if it's driven with purpose, even small is bigger. Because we say never despise the days of your humble beginnings.
Right.
We started in a little box, okay? We went to another little box, which was big, and we celebrated every growth. And that was process.
So starting
small. Yes, start small, allow the process.
Allow the process.
Yes.
Maria, for you, as you come to
what
close?
I should say, like in every business, like never get comfortable, okay? Never get comfortable, never feel like you have arrived. Every time is a day of self-improvement. Every time is a day of of like solving problems.
Right.
So make sure you're in a business of solving problems. Every time there's something, and always look for it, either through your customer or through your staff. Always find ways to solve problems, because that's how you get to the next level. So I would say, as a business owner, you should never relax. You should never feel comfortable. You should always be like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
like never be in a place of comfort.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming in studios. I'm sure people in that business have now learned. It all comes, success in the hair industry comes from a point of passion, from a point of realizing customer is king, from a point of excellence and consistency. So that has been the discussion on Solution segment this morning. Up next is Take Note. Stay tuned.